Hey everybody, Joni Wagner with Goosehead Insurance here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Today I just wanted to briefly touch on the difference between a named peril and an open or an all peril homeowners insurance policy. There's a big difference between the two, and if at all possible, you really want an open peril policy because the coverage is a lot more broad than a named peril policy. So in insurance, we use the term peril to describe something that causes damage to your home or your personal belongings. So examples of perils would be fire, lightning, wind, hail, theft. Those are all perils. So in a named peril policy, your homeowner's insurance policy will list anywhere from 9 to 16 perils that are covered. So if you have a claim on your policy, or if you think you have a claim on your homeowner's insurance policy, you've got damage to your home or your personal property, the responsibility is on you to let the insurance company know that, okay, of this list of 9 to 16 items, this is the peril that caused the damage to my home. Well, if it's not on that list, then you don't have coverage for your damages, and the claim will be denied. Whereas in an open peril policy, basically, any peril is covered with the exception of 9 exclusions, pretty standard exclusion on your policy. So, and the responsibility once you file a claim would really be on the insurance company to say, okay, you filed the claim, you said this was the cause of the damage. They just have to make sure that whatever caused the damage is not on the list of the exclusions. So if it's not on the list of the exclusions, then you have coverage for your home or your personal property. So the 9 exclusions that are typically listed under an open peril policy would be war and nuclear disaster, flood or water. You can get flood coverage, it's just a separate insurance policy, but it doesn't come standard on a homeowner's insurance policy. Water damage, typically anything sudden and accidental inside the home would be covered unless you get water back up through like a drain in the floor or a sump pump. Then you have to endorse that on your policy. And often I will quote that on a homeowner's insurance quote, just standard practice, and leave it up to my client to tell me they don't want it. Never want someone to come back and say, hey, I didn't know this wasn't included on my policy. So nuclear disaster and war, flood or water, like backup water. Earthquake's not covered under a standard homeowner's insurance policy, but you can endorse it on your policy, typically with a 5 or a 10% deductible. Completely optional, but not standard coverage. Wear and tear. Well, you can't file a claim because your house is getting old. You got to maintain, your responsibility as a homeowner is to maintain your home to the best of your ability. And then rust and mold. When it comes to filing insurance claims, if the original cause of damage to your home or belongings is a covered peril, then the following damages will be covered too. But let's just say that you had a pipe burst in your kitchen and water got all over. If that's covered under your policy, then the insurance will cover any damages that may be in effect from that peril. So if the pipe that burst causes some rust or mold, it would be covered since the water claim was covered. However, if you happen to purchase a home with existing rust or mold, that's when these items would be excluded. If you can't trace it back to a covered peril that caused the damage, you can't file a claim for it. So governmental actions is the 8th exclusion on the standard homeowner's insurance policy for an open peril policy. So if the government or government agency is the cause of damage to your home insurance will not cover you. And intentional acts seems rather obvious, but may not be. Intentional acts, are not covered. You can't burn your own home down for the insurance money. Just won't be covered. So if you file a claim and the insurance company finds out you caused the damage intentionally, they won't pay out your claim. Just makes sense. So, I guess in closing, I would, if you have the option between a open peril policy or an all peril policy and a named peril policy, you definitely want to opt for the open peril policy.